So, the honor roll guys asked me to answer some of your questions that you've asked on Facebook and Instagram. So, I'm going to do that right now. So, Louis Yoxall asks, what is your favorite skate park? Or what is the best skate park in your opinion? And the best skate park to me is a free skate park. Like cement skate parks. I really like cement skate parks that you can go to at any time and skate at any time. Doing that before like going to a street session for me is like the perfect warm up. I was in Los Angeles filming with Lonnie for Feet, and we had an amazing cement skate park session in LA, which like really paved the way for a great day of skating when we went street skating. So, I don't really have a favorite skate park, but any cement skate park that's like open all day, especially lit at night. I really like skating at night. Is my favorite. What yoga do you recommend to help with blading? I don't practice a particular yoga that has like a lot of different postures. I practice Kundalini yoga, but it's not like you're holding particular postures that may be difficult for periods of time, although that does happen in Kundalini yoga. So I don't really know, to be honest. I would imagine that any yoga that really focuses on the core and leg strength, because that's basically what we're using, will be a good one. I think it's just finding something that you like to do, even if it's not yoga. A friend of mine, Matthias St. John, just told me recently that a very well-known yoga instructor in Australia told him like skating is your yoga. So by doing it every day, you become stronger in it. So I would just say skate every day. There's things like flexibility and stretching and yoga can be great for those things, but sometimes you just need to experiment, and there's quite a bit of free startup trials with different yoga studios, so just like go and experiment and find something that you like to do, because that's the most important thing, is like doing something that you like to do so you can continue to do it over and over and over again. So yeah, skating is your yoga. Killa K. Roland says, what do you think about the rollerblading scene back home and around the world? Where does he see it in the future? I've been traveling quite a bit my whole life. Northern California is my home, but I'm often not there. I'm often more not there than I am there. The closest experience I can speak about is being at Winter Clash, last weekend, and it was just really nice to see so many skaters in one place from all over the world. I mean, Europe's not huge in a sense compared to the United States, so it's a bit easier for people from many different countries to come in one place and skate together. But one thing I noticed about the European scene that was really nice was just the deep roots that it has. It has like a lot of older people still skating, still having fun, living their lives, working their jobs, but still coming together for these contests. And I had many people come up to me and talk to me about my VG17 profile, which you have to be something like 30 years old or your late 20s to even I think know what that is. I think even most people probably starting skating now wouldn't even know, which is crazy to me because it's it doesn't seem that long ago, but actually it's probably like 17 years ago or something, 18 years ago. So I don't know, one thing I just noticed about the European scene was the amount of skaters that are still doing it, that have been doing it for a long time, and and making time to do it, not just do it, but to do it for themselves, to have fun for themselves, to come together with their original friends that they grew up skating with, and continue that story of their lives. The blading part of our lives, I don't think it ever needs to leave. Maybe we don't skate as much as we used to, or we don't skate all the time, or skate as good as we used to, especially, but it's a really deep part of ourselves that's connected to skating, and it doesn't go away. It stays with us, so it's nice to connect with it, in different ways, which is, why the video game is nice too, because, everyone, I mean, not everyone, but a lot of people have Xbox and PlayStation and these things, and play video games with their children, and, a lot of people that grew up in my generation have children and that skate, or, that are really young and have the ability to skate, so, yeah, I don't know, I kind of went off on that. Sometimes I do that. Okay, BRDN Garcia asks, what do we need to get our sport to grow again? I feel all of us in our 30s now, and still rollerblading, which is unlike skateboarding. IMO, which I think's, in my opinion. I think the only way to make it grow is to do it, to do it with a smile on your face, to just be out there skating at skate parks, especially, skate parks. There's so many everywhere right now, and they're so easy to access and so easy to go to, and, and that's where everyone is seeing you, seeing what you're doing, seeing if you're having fun, seeing if you're in a group of friends, seeing, what's happening with rollerblading, I think that's one of the only ways, when it comes to it becoming popular on a bigger scale, in terms of, it being somewhere up like skateboarding or something. Sometimes it's just timing. The right things have to be set in motion for something to pick up and become recognized and become cool, or like accepted. And you just have to be patient. You just have to do it because you love it, do it because it's fun, do it because you enjoy it with your friends, and then things will happen. Things will happen for sure. I trust in that. Charlie Hustles asks, do you ever think there will be a time when amateur rollerbladers will be able to make a minimal living solely from rollerblading? On the same note, will there ever be a time when a decent amount of professional rollerbladers will be paid enough money to be deemed successful by normal societal standards? If you answered yes, when? There was a time in my skating when I was skating for Razors, and I made like $200 a month. I was an amateur. I was like 18. I thought that was pretty cool. $200 a month was pretty big. To be able to make a minimal living, it would just depend. It would depend on how much money is in the industry. It would depend on what the company thinks they should be doing, whether they should be paying amateurs for the representations of their brands. It's up to them, and then, when will I think professional rollerbladers will be paid enough money to be successful? I think it's kind of the same deal, if there's enough money in the industry as a whole, then the people that run the companies have the option to pay their riders more. At any moment, whether there's a lot of money in the industry or not, company owners have the option to pay their riders more or not, or what they think the work they're doing is worth. But that's up to them and what where they're coming from, and their kind of moral judgment about that whole thing, where their hearts are, and what they think people that are professional skating should be paid for, and the work that they're doing. So I mean, you don't have to be super successful to pay someone a decent amount of money, a respectable amount of money. It's just, it's up to you as an owner. Oh, this is another Charlie Hustle's question. Do you think that the skateboarding industry will ever give up their homophobic hate campaign against rollerblading? You know, I think it would just be best to not even direct any energy towards that idea. I mean, that idea is not something that is like prevalent in my life. It's something I don't choose to focus my energy on. So I don't think it's something you even need to think about. Maybe there's like, there's often people think that it's other people's views against rollerblading, whether they be negative or whatever, that is the sole responsibility for rollerblading not being huge like skateboarding. But I don't think that's true. I think we have to take responsibility for where we are, and kind of stop directing our energy towards things that kind of taking this victim role, like we're not this because of this, and we're not there because of that, and it's a lot of energy. It's like spending a lot of energy doing that. And if we use even like half of that energy on focusing on just ourselves and what we're doing, and maybe improving the way things are with us as like a culture, then I think that would help a lot more. I don't get to see a lot of on the internet about how rollerbladers are treating each other, but the last time I checked, it was with a lot of disrespect, a lot of open disrespect to each other and the way we talk to each other, and that's a sign of where we're at. Like, that tells us where we're at, and that's nobody's fault but our own. And also we're very young. We're only, rollerblading only started getting big in like the early 90s. And things like skateboarding have been around since like the 60s, or, even earlier. I don't know the history of that, but, they've been around a lot longer to grow into what they are now. We haven't even been around that long, so, we still have time to grow. And a lot of the people involved in skating are really